One sunny afternoon, Thomas and Max were relaxing at a cozy café in their small city. They enjoyed a leisurely afternoon, sipping their coffee and watching the world go by. Later on, they planned to embark on a little adventure, thinking of going on a pleasant hike through the nearby countryside. As they ventured into the serene outskirts, they stumbled upon an old, moss-covered stone archway that seemed to beckon them closer. The archway, partially concealed by the encroaching greenery, was adorned with intricate carvings of mythical creatures and swirling vines, giving it an air of ancient mystery. Feeling drawn to the archway, Thomas decided to step through it, with Max following closely. As they crossed the threshold, a swirling vortex of light and color surrounded them, and they felt as if they were being lifted off the ground. The vortex was a dazzling mix of shimmering blues and purples, with specks of gold sparkling like stars in the night sky. When the light faded, Thomas and Max found themselves in a completely different world. They stood in the middle of a busy medieval marketplace, where merchants shouted about their goods from wooden stalls, and the air was filled with the smells of fresh bread, exotic spices, and roasting meats. Thomas looked around in amazement, realizing they had traveled back in time. Excited to explore, Thomas and Max wandered through the marketplace, taking in the lively scene. Horses clattered by, their hooves echoing on the cobblestones, while townsfolk in colorful clothes chatted animatedly, and children played with handmade wooden toys. They came across a group of performers juggling and dancing to the tunes of a minstrel's lute. The performers wore bright costumes with feathers and bells that jingled with each movement, and their faces were painted with elaborate designs. As they continued, Thomas spotted a grand castle in the distance. The castle was impressive, with tall stone walls and turrets reaching up to the sky, flags fluttering in the night breeze. Curious, Thomas and Max made their way toward it, following a pathway lit by glowing lanterns that cast a warm, inviting light. The path wound through fields of golden wheat that rustled softly under the moonlight, the fields stretching far and wide with a serene, tranquil ambiance. When they reached the castle, they were greeted by a kind knight who invited them inside. The castle's interior was amazing, with grand halls lined with suits of armor and tapestries showing epic battles and heroic deeds. The knight introduced himself as Sir Cedric and offered to show them around. As they explored the castle, Sir Cedric told stories of bravery and chivalry, and Thomas listened intently, his imagination sparked by the tales. In the castle's library, Thomas found a dusty old book with a glowing cover. The library was a large room with tall shelves filled with old books, and the air smelled of aged paper and leather. The book seemed to shine with a faint magical light. Opening it, Thomas discovered a spell that could take them to any time they wanted. Eager for more adventures, Thomas and Max thanked Sir Cedric and set off on their next journey. They found themselves in a lush tropical jungle, with tall trees and colorful plants forming a thick canopy above, letting in a mosaic of greens and golds. They saw exotic animals and found hidden ruins, remnants of a lost civilization. The ruins were covered in vines and moss, with crumbling stone pillars and carved statues peeking out from the undergrowth. Finally, they arrived once again at the old stone archway. The setting sun cast long golden shadows, giving the scene a peaceful, magical glow. They took a moment to reflect on their adventures, savoring the memories before deciding to return home. Thomas and Max walked back through the city, their hearts full of the wonders they had seen and the stories they would share. The familiar sights and sounds felt comforting, yet with a new sense of possibility and wonder. They knew that as long as they had each other, every day could bring a new adventure.